Did you know that ticket prices can actually go down right before the game? That's where Game Time comes in. Game Time tracks ticket prices in real time from thousands of trusted sellers, then shows you all the best deals. So we can get tickets at the last minute for up to 60% off. Download Game Time now.
Hello friends and welcome into the Michigan Football Report presented by Game Time Special Halftime Edition. James, Michigan up over Minnesota, and we're doing this because there was some other Big Ten action. Ohio State falls to Iowa, and Penn State falls to Michigan State, the Big Ten East, in total chaos.
Tom, total chaos. It's throwing a wrench into the entire college football playoff picture. I don't know what to expect from the committee when we release those results on Tuesday night. Game Time has got a lot of Michigan fans in for cheap tonight, 60% off tickets, especially with all that rain that we had that delayed the game by over an hour, Tom. We've been sitting here all day trying to get this show to you, so we came on halftime, give you guys an appearance. But, Tom, let's get into the highlights. Amazing first half if you are a Michigan football fan that wants to see some offense for once.
Yeah, the offense that got going here early in the first quarter, 0-0. Check out this great play design here, the rollout to the right, and then the throwback to Sean McCune. He's got blockers in the convoy. He scampers into the end zone for the score. Michigan up 7-0. Perfectly designed play. The rollback tight end screen. There was one guy in the area. A great block by, I believe that was Ben Brereton.
Tight end screen.
And then Karan Higdon. 9 carries so far in the first half, James. Already got 163 yards thanks in large part to this massive run. No one comes close to him. That was before the end of the first quarter. Put Michigan back up 14-7. However, though, James, Quinn Nordine would miss the extra point. You saw the blocking there. Big hole for Higdon. Huge gainer. Michigan scores. And then 7:13 to go in the second quarter. It's Chris Evans' turn. He breaks a tackle. Some bad angles by Minnesota. And then he's off to the edges. And no one's going to catch him from behind. Evans runs in for the score. At the halftime, Michigan up 20-7 over Minnesota.
Tom, we had a missed extra point there from our boy Quinn Nordine, but you got to pretty much what we said yesterday in Michigan football preview. Brandon Peters only 8 throws in the first half, 46 yards, 1 touchdown. Karan Higdon, though, what a game, Tom. He's about to have his second 200-yard game in the last 4 weeks. That's 4 weeks, which would be absurd, and that would be just a huge boost to this Michigan football program. Chris Evans over 100 yards, Tom. I cannot remember a single time in my entire life, I'm going back 30 years at this point, in my entire life, where Michigan has 2 running backs with over 110 yards at halftime, with one going over 163. That's got to be some sort of record in the modern era. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of this offensive line, the running game, and Tom, and the cool and calmness of Brandon Peters.
It's been mighty impressive, but and this is not meant as any kind of disrespect for Brandon Peters, James. I think I would be able to lead Michigan to a lead right now when your offense already has 266 yards on the ground on 17 carries. One of those was a 9-yard loss by Peters on a sack.
It was. It's phenomenal, Tom. I mean, the offensive line has actually come to play. I feel bad for throwing Greg Frey under the bus yesterday a little bit, but his O-line's coming to play big time.
Higdon and Evans right now, James, are averaging over 18 yards per carries. That is mighty impressive, and it's almost unheard of. Now, part of that is because Evans has a 60-yard run, and Higdon has a 77-yard run. But it's been mighty impressive so far for Michigan, including the fact that, James, this right now is a Michigan football team dealing with multiple injuries on the offensive side of the ball. They are down multiple starters. We'll bring them up here for you. Quarterback Wilton Spade was a starter at the opening year. All right, that's the beginning of the season. Now, he's no longer going to be the starter. I think Brandon Peters has maybe not a true stranglehold, but he's in great shape to keep it.
Yep.
Ty Isaac was a starter to open the year, and he's had starters carries.
He's had starter carries for sure, absolutely.
Grant Perry is the team's best receiver right now. He is hurt as well, but those aren't the only 3 guys currently out right now. Tariq Black, another freshman receiver who, frankly, was the team's best receiver before he got hurt. He's out. Tyrone Wheatley is kind of cheating, I think, but he was listed as a starter, so it counts.
He was listed as a starter at some point in time.
Yeah,
He's got a couple of snaps this year.
It counts.
It's a starter. And then
Michael Onwenu,
a starter, a guy that Harbaugh raved about. We talked about him yesterday in our Hot or Not. Michigan offensive line is hot. Onwenu is one of the guys that Harbaugh really raved about. So, Tom, you've got 6 starters. You're on your 3rd-string quarterback. You're kind of on your 3rd-string running back. If you really think about the depth chart in week 1, Higdon was your third-string running back. He didn't start getting carries till week 3, Tom. Then you've got Wheatley, who, for all intents and purposes, has been like the pencil-in starter. But we've had other players like Sean McCune get those starters. Yeah. Onwenu was a for sure starter, and so Tariq Black, the best wide receiver. Grant Perry, the second best wide receiver on this team. So you've got basically half of the second-string offense in there playing this game and looking better than the team has the entire year, Tom. So is it good coaching, or is it, what kind of coaching is this? Where were these guys all year? I don't know, because Michigan's offense in that middle part of the season looked as bad as I've ever seen it. So why weren't these guys playing at an earlier date? I couldn't say, Tom, but I like what I see. 20-7 over Minnesota going into the half, and I think that Michigan's going to ride this one out and win comfortably.
I could not agree with you more. I don't think they're going to have Brandon Peters throw it more than 15 times.
Absolutely.
We got some other Big Ten action to take you to. Ohio State on the road at Iowa. James, if you're a ranked team, never go visit Iowa City. Bad things tend to happen, and that's what happened in this one. The very first play of the game, J.T. Barrett drops back to pass, and it's a pick 6. A very ominous foreboding of what was to come in this game, James. It ends up being an Iowa rout. Not even like a close, hard-fought game that Ohio State had to win in the last seconds like Penn State did. No, this was a blowout game, not helped by the fact that Nick Bosa here gets ejected for targeting. Look, by technicality, James, he hit him in the head with the crown of his helmet. It's targeting, but I thought it was a little bit of a weaker call there. But this was Iowa. Nathan Stanley, James, had 5 touchdown passes. This was an Ohio State defense that had been fantastic all year long, but the second half, Iowa just took it to him on offense. James, look, I thought Ohio State would win this game. I thought that Iowa would give them a good effort. I did not expect a 30-plus point victory, which is what ended up happening here.
Tom, I have never seen an Ohio State team get beat this bad in my entire life. I've been watching Ohio State football since 1987, Tom. That's all I've been watching. 55 points against Iowa. I have never seen an Iowa team score 55 points in my entire life. So this is one of the bigger blowout upsets I've ever seen in college football. Ohio State fans were so confident, not just going into this game, Tom, the rest of the season, that they were going to just walk their way into the college football playoff for the 3rd time in 4 years after that Ohio State win. J.T. Barrett, Tom, had one of the best fourth quarters you and I watched together last week I've ever seen in my life. That game was, I was telling my wife earlier this afternoon, that Ohio State-Penn State game was one of the best games I've seen in the last 5 years in my life. And then J.T. Barrett comes back and throws 4 interceptions, Tom. I could not believe what I was watching. I just think this was the most ultimate letdown game I've ever seen in my life. They came off that huge win, and they thought they were just going to ride it smooth for another 4 or 5 weeks to the Michigan game.
I could not agree with you more. That is exactly what happened. I don't know who was on the field today, but it was not the J.T. Barrett we saw earlier this week.
I just can't comprehend. What did he just go? Did he do one of those, hey, it's my birthday, I'm going to party all week kind of things after that fourth quarter and just get sued? I don't know. I can't even explain what happened to him. It's not the same guy that was just playing here just 7 days ago, right?
Go figure. More chaos, though, in the Big Ten in the East in particular. Penn State on the road against Michigan State. This game was delayed by a substantial weather delay. Here in the first quarter, Trace McSorley drops back to pass. 1st and 10, finds Deshaun Hamilton. He does the rest in the end zone for the score. PSU up 7-0. Sparty only takes 4 plays to answer. Brian Lewerke to Darrell Stewart Jr., who ties things up at 7, the big catch there. All right, for the end of the first now, 4th and 8, Saeed Blacknell breaks a tackle, makes 2 more guys miss, and gets into the end zone for the score. Well, taking a look at this play, Blacknell, the stiff arm, and then the 2 Michigan State guys just kind of miss him. Penn State up there. Nearly 3.5 hours to return the favor because of that weather delay. Lewerke goes deep downfield. Felton Davis, the 3rd, the leaping catch for the score. Taking a look, full extension for the grab. We are now tied at 14 until L.J. Scott. He barrels in on 1st and goal in the 3rd quarter. Spartans retake the lead, but Trace McSorley down 21-7. He's kind of something to say about that. As time expires, a wide open DeAndre Hopkins. How do you forget about him? 70 yards later, Nittany lines up again, but 4 seconds left. Matt Coughlin nails the game-winning field goal. Michigan State stuns Penn State 27-24, the game-winning field goal. All of a sudden, James, next week, November 11th, Ohio State hosts Michigan State for what is in all likelihood
a play-in, right, to the Big Ten championship
exactly.
game.
The winner takes the Big Ten East.
Goes to the Big Ten championship. And what this means, Tom, is that every Big Ten team has 2 losses right now, except for Wisconsin, who has still played no one, is undefeated. Michigan will get to the chance in 2 weeks, Tom. Michigan could be the ultimate ender of a Big Ten college football playoff representative this week.
Michigan, all of a sudden, James, is right back in the picture.
Well, I looked at all the scenarios, Tom. It's going to be pretty tight. The only tiebreaker they would win is head-to-head with Ohio State. If it's a three-way tie with 2 losses, anything like that, a 4-way tie, they're going to lose every time. So they need Penn State and Michigan State to lose another one, which is very possible, and then Michigan will get an opportunity. But it'll take a couple more losses to get in there, though. It's possible, right? They need a couple more losses. But what did we see today, Tom? We saw 2 losses that no one saw coming. So there's 4 weeks left, 3 weeks left in this Big Ten season. Anything's possible at this point.
Penn State's scheduled the rest of the way because in theory, Ohio State could beat Michigan State and then that November 25th game. Rutgers, Nebraska at Maryland. Not exactly a schedule.
Maryland, maybe. I could see Maryland. They've given some people some fits this year. Michigan will see him next week.
Yeah, Nebraska, I think, is on the verge of firing head coach Mike Riley. All right, folks, let's take you back then to the highlights of the first half in this one, if you missed them at all. Early start here, good for Michigan. The old tight end screen throwback play worked to perfection. Sean McCune, with no one in front of him, just kind of waltzes in the end zone for the score. Perfection play. Look at that. There's no one over there,
Nobody
James.
throws a tight end screen anymore but Jim Harbaugh. I love that play.
Perfectly designed play, and then the ground game took over. Karan Higdon, here he busts loose for 77 yards. No one touches him. Dude can fly. Minnesota's 34 had no chance there.
I love what you see out of him. I want to see a little more Kareem Walker out there, though.
Exactly there. Higdon, great block there from number 80. The entire side of the line just pushed over to the left. Huge hole, enough room for a Mack truck to fit through.
And if you missed the time, Ty Isaac not playing today.
Yes, Isaac is out. Here again is Chris Evans this time. This I think was a little more impressive than Karan Higdon's run because he had more guys to make miss.
Broke tackles like crazy.
Yeah, and then some bad angles helped out there. Michigan up 20-7 at the half. The start of the second half should be taking place here in just a moment, James.
Yeah, getting ready to it, Tom. I'm excited to see what the second half. If they throw more than 10 times, I think things will go very bad. That means things are going bad for Michigan. That the running game breaks down and the defense breaks down.
Or does it mean it's so good they just want to get Peter some work?
Yeah, maybe they want to get Peter some work. I don't know. But I like what I see, Tom. Glad there's a little bit of a cushion. Too bad Nordine missed that extra point and maybe make the game dicey, see what happens in the second half. But you got to be happy what you see out of basically this 1.5 string offense at this point with all the injuries.
All right, folks. Today's show is brought to you by the Game Time app. Head over to chatsports.com/tickets to get the app today. James, it is the #1 app if you need last-minute sports or concert tickets.
Tom, I've been telling all my friends about Game Time. I had at least 4 of them say, yo, got tickets today under $35, $90 face value. So Game Time is making it happen. Love Game Time, the best way to get Michigan football and all your sporting tickets and concerts.
All right, one more reaction poll, then we will let you guys go watch the second half of what hopefully is going to be a rout here for Michigan. What do you think of the Michigan offense with Brandon Peters at quarterback? James, do you like it, love it, or is there still a little bit of work to do?
Tom, I just got to love it. I don't know what else to say about this offense. It's not like it's Oklahoma or Oklahoma State by any means at all. But it is competent. It is these Michigan can you think they're going to score in every possession at this point? I know it's Rutgers. I know it is now Minnesota. That's 2 weeks under Brandon Peters. But it looks so much better than Will Speight and exponentially better, 10 times better than John O'Corn. So I love it.
Could not agree with you more. I will point out one little area I'd like to see Peters get better at in the mindset of, hey, improvement is always the end, no matter how good you are. Just ask Tom Brady. I want to see him do better at the out routes. The out routes and kind of when the receiver's going across the field, especially coming back towards him, he tends to underthrow them. We saw that in the first half. He underthrew his man. I believe it was Donovan Peoples-Jones was open, just a little bit underthrown.
Yeah, and you know what, Tom, about Brandon Peters that on the other side that I think he's a little underrated on? He is very good at throwing on the run. He's much better than John O'Corn.
And you can tell that's what Michigan's been doing. They've been allowing him to roll out and do that.
He hits guys, and sometimes you're like, that's a pass you expect O'Corn to skip off the turf. He is putting it right on the money. So, Tom, I'm going to tap that screen a couple of times. Let's leave this graphic up for a second. Seeing a ton of votes come through.
I see a lot of love.
It's a lot of love, baby.
And
people loving it, people liking it. So this is a good one. But, Tom, we do a few injuries tonight. I'm surprising. 3 very unexpected injuries. But if you look at Michigan, who has started games for them this year, there's a lot of guys that have been out. So who's been out for Michigan tonight?
Wilton Speight, which we knew, but again, he counts as a starter. Ty Isaac was a starter multiple games this year. Yeah. He's not playing tonight. Grant Perry, the team's best receiver right now.
This one's unexpected. No one expected this one at all.
Do you know what the reason was for that?
Don't know. I just saw injury. I reached out to a couple people. It said no real response. It's just he's not going to play.
All right. Another receiver, Tariq Black, we know is out. That's been the case for a while.
Yep.
Tyrone Wheatley is banged up as well. He counts on a technicality because he's been listed as a starter.
Started
on the
a couple of times. And Michael Onwenu, Tom, is another one. He had a big week last week. He's been playing well after, he had a little bit of weight issues in the offseason, but has really slimmed down, making a play as a true sophomore. And
ballooned up to almost 380 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big boy. So Onwenu, and then Ty Isaac, and then Grant Perry, Tom. 3 projected starters tonight. Higdon and Isaac, I guess you're flipping a coin there most weeks, but 3 guys you did not expect to be injured for this game are not playing for Michigan tonight, but the offense doesn't look like it skipped a beat. So big things coming from this Michigan football team in the second half, I think, and the rest of the season.
All right, folks, that is going to do it for us at the halftime report. If you guys missed any of the brief highlights, we're going to play those again. We'll be back on right after the game ends for a complete recap with highlights and more, so stay tuned for that. For James Yoder, I'm Tom Downey. You guys stay classy out there.